Hey folks, rinimt here, and welcome back to Pivot of Hearts. There was a bombshell last time. Mitsuko and Kawa are together. And well, it's Crunch Week. Crunch is bad, by the way. I don't recommend Crunch. I've never dreaded the commute to work as much as I did today. Mondays are usually when I get to work from home. But in the current state of production, we've had to restart the servers all the time, and I need to be there in person to make sure it all goes smoothly. God, why didn't I take the time to make it so I could do that remotely? At this point, I was even hoping I'd come down with something and be able to call in sick, but alas, my mind and heart feel like they've been run over by a stampede, but my body's still moving regardless. What an inconsiderate sense of duty my immune system has. You could always lie, my dark side whispers. Yeah, right. Abandoning my team because of personal reasons is out of the question. Heat's Festival, aka the deadline for finishing Healing Quest, is this Saturday. It's the final stretch. I can rest afterwards. Except there's the Festus Junina the following day, which is sure to be another roller coaster of emotions. One day at a time, Win. One day at a time. The train shakes abruptly, and I try to grab onto a railing for support, accidentally bumping into the people squeezed close to me. I whisper quick apologies and hold my backpack against my chest, trying to become as small as possible. Maybe there will be a problem in the tracks and the subway will conveniently stop, but it doesn't. The train continues on. I'll just have to suck it up and hope the art team doesn't need much from me today. I heave a heavy sigh and accept my fate. Morning! Drag my feet into the office and give a very general greeting directed at no one in particular. Rather, I particularly try to avoid looking towards the art team's workstation. I still manage to catch a glimpse of Kawa's red-clad figure, and I feel a knot in my throat and my stomach churning. When? Holy cow, I did not expect to see you here. Come on, don't tell me you don't have any clever plans to get us out of this one. I recall that very brief pause when their eyes lingered on each other. It can't be, right? But it was. For how long? Moments from the past start playing in my head despite my attempts to shut them away. Damn it. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! It's not like they owed me any sort of explanation, but despite knowing this, I feel betrayed. All this time we've been growing closer, Itsuko was... I shake my head. No, that's not right. To her, I was just a friend this whole time. I was the one getting ahead of myself and thinking we could be something more. I was the one feeling things and imagining that. Oh, damn it, if I'd known she was seeing someone, I wouldn't have... Crap, what if she's seeing someone? Didn't catch any signs of that, but then again, I have been told I'm rather dense when it comes to this kind of thing. The thought alone has my heart beating faster. Whether she's single or not, perhaps we don't open that box for now. Yeah, I guess I didn't want to know. I never tried to learn anything about Kawa's current love life either. God, no one even knows, but I feel so humiliated. I know I have no right to feel any anger towards either of them, and that makes me hate myself even more. I myself only realized I was falling for Itsuko, like, yesterday? If only I'd noticed those feelings earlier, could I have done something differently? Either way, it's too late now. Nothing can be done. Win, you've been staring at that one line of code since you got here. Is everything okay? Huh? I was really dumb and just realized something a bit too late to the game. Now it is what it is. Was it something important? Something game-breaking? Game-breaking. I recall Itsuko and Kawa smiling at each other in Barbara's living room. Actually, everything seems to be working just fine. Except for me. You don't seem fine at all. I guess. Look, I don't think our code is so set in stone to the point that you can't fiddle with it a little bit. She smiles gently. Something breaks, we can find a way to fix it. Yeah. Is it true? Is there still time to do something about the situation? And even if there was, even if I could somehow materialize an opportunity and make it work out for myself, how would I feel about being the reason my two dearest friends broke up? Maybe this is where the metaphor stops working. We can break then fix code as long as the end result is fine. The human relationships are not like that. Some things are irreversible. Or we can return to a previous commit like nothing happened. Except if only I could do that in real life. In the end, I'd much rather prefer a solution that does not involve breaking anything. I unconsciously glance at the artist's workstation. Huh. Anna and Beto are standing next to Kawa, looking at the screen and making comments. This wouldn't be an unusual sight, but they look visibly upset. Beto rubs his forehead, Anna uncharacteristically bites her fingernails, and the screen's reflection on Kawa's glasses seems to indicate he's searching through many different locations. Something seems to be going down in the art department. I'll go see what's up. I can't really run away from Kawa forever. We work together and probably will continue to for some time. I'd best talk to him normally and avoid creating a weird atmosphere. Hopefully it's something I can help with. Let me know if they need anything. Maybe one of the files from an older build? It would have to be a build from way back. Tried looking, but no luck. I guess we'll just have to redo from scratch. When? Hey, you guys having some trouble? Yeah, there's a little issue with the current version of the Archer sprite. Something wrong with the animation. The older version of the frames worked fine, but once the design was updated, something got messed up. It just stayed on the backlog for a long time because we're much bigger problems. So we were trying to find the old version, but it seems to have been totally overwritten. It's my responsibility to keep track of these files. I'll take care of it and redo the frames. It's not your fault. The old version was from before you even joined us. I was the one who did the new version. I'll own up to it. And guys, do you remember from around when that build was? The one with the frames you need? Around February, I think. May I? I sheepishly placed my hand on the back of the chair Cal was sitting on. Sit down and start typing away in the terminal. And you're gonna pull up files from the build from back then? But won't we lose the progress we've made since then? No, wait. You underestimate the powers of using proper version control? What's the name of the file? It's Archer Recovery 0167.png. This one? I flipped through a few frames. Ah, that's it. There you go. Just save some copies on another folder. Yay! Win! You saved us! Version control is amazing. You're like a time traveler when... I don't know about that. We'll get back to work right away. You really saved the day. I don't know how to thank you. It's no big deal. You can always ask the programmers about stuff like this. You're right. You solved it in a minute. I was worried about bothering you since everyone's so busy. I ought to learn how to do that myself sometime. Once things calm down, I can give you a rundown of the most common version control commands. Might be useful for the next projects. That would be great. This whole exchange was friendly enough, but devoid of any direct eye contact. A couple of awkward moments passed. So much for not creating a weird atmosphere. Was surprised running into you in the weekend. Oh, yeah. Never imagined you to be the new member of the party. Or that you and Etsuko were dating. Even saying out loud is enough to make me feel a sharp pain in my stomach. I only hope it didn't show on my face or voice. I had no idea you guys were old friends. Small world. Yeah, super small. Strange, almost laugh comes out of my mouth. Well, you guys did each other really well. As I uttered these words, I'm sure my expression finally becomes distorted, so that was another reason not to look Kawa in the eyes. Thanks. She is pretty great. I'm really happy to be part of the party now. Looking forward to the next session. Yeah, Barbara's probably cooking up some crazy new twists for sure. Well, I should get back to work. Right, me too. Thanks for saving the day. I smile sheepishly and head towards my desk. I'll spend the rest of the day focused on debugging and trying not to think of what other plot twists life could throw my way. Wednesday. I draw a deep breath. Things have been too crazy for my usually dull daily life. And today, my mom invited me to have dinner at some fancy Korean restaurant. I think it'll be a good chance to change of pace to help me get my mind off of all this stuff happening lately. Besides, it's been some time since I last saw her. I try to keep track of her well-being while maintaining a certain distance for the sake of my own sanity. As I enter the establishment, I locate a familiar lady already seated by a big table. Mom! Andre, come here! My mom waves and signals for me to sit down, and I do as I'm told. Finally seeing her in person after a long time makes her seem a lot less intimidating. She could just pass as a friendly old lady, after all. I haven't been to this restaurant before. It looks nice. It does, doesn't it? You should be eating some good food once in a while. Can only imagine all the junk food you must be having, living on your own. Maybe it was too soon to think she's lost her edge. No wonder you've put on some weight. And there we go. Well, don't you worry about that. You can order whatever you like. Enjoy this treat from your mama. Yeah, I think I'll do just that. Focus on eating. Food is always good. I'm just waiting for my friend to arrive. We can start ordering as soon as she gets here. I didn't know there were other people coming. Oh, it's just Auntie. You remember her, right? Auntie from the church? Yes, that one. In fact, I think she's just arrived. I turn back to look at the restaurant's entrance, and I see Auntie waving as she walks to our table, accompanied by a girl that looks just around my age. Daughter, maybe? Inviting someone from this Taiwanese community without telling me, and a gossip nonetheless? I suddenly get the feeling that this could be a recipe for disaster, but I try to shake it off. Andre, no long time no see. You remember my daughter Jennifer, right? Auntie casts me a wink, and I start wondering if any kind of insinuation in the sentence is just a fruit of my imagination. I don't, actually. Glance at the girl standing beside her. She's got her arms crossed and a not very happy expression on her face. I stopped going to church a long time ago. It's no wonder if you can't recall me. Well, pleasure to meet you then. Yeah, Silence takes place as the exchange wanes off, broken only by the happy chatter initiated by my mom and auntie as she and her daughter get seated. Of course, it was supposed to be a laid-back dinner with my mom, had to have a surprise socialization element. A whole bunch of bulgogi and side dishes arrive, and I feel thankful for being able to occupy myself with grilling and eating. Oh, but did you know Andre is a programmer? My mom's apparent boasting of this makes me cringe. Always criticizing, but showing me off when it's good for her image, eh? Wow, really? Isn't that amazing, Jennifer? Being a programmer means a lot of financial stability. Then my body attempting to crawl under the table once I realized what this is all about. Good for you, Andre. The annoyance on Jennifer's tone makes me feel even more uncomfortable. Actually, working with indie game development isn't really that stable. My mom glares at me with a look that says shh, which I actively decide to ignore. Andre does live all by himself and pays all the bills. You see, he's got his own apartment and a car. No, I don't have a car and my apartment is rented. Mom, I don't care about this shit. Stop being inconvenient. Jennifer has her face on her palm as she says this. Now, don't be so grumpy. Auntie turns to face me with a whispering hand motion. I know she's a little sulky today, but Jennifer's actually a good girl. She's been to culinary school and helps out with our family restaurant. She's a really great cook. How wonderful! Being a good cook is such a gift. I mirror the whispering gesture as I answer. Mom, Auntie, I think Jennifer is sulky for a reason. Besides, I believe she could speak for herself just fine. Despite my symbolic effort to keep the conversation private, Jennifer perks up at hearing what I said. Yes, thank you. Thinking I was in for a chill Korean barbecue and suddenly finding out some weird-ass My Eyes shit has completely ruined the mood. Guess I'm not alone on being caught off guard with a matchmaking attempt. I'm not the least bit surprised. I hear my mom and auntie's whispers of, ooh, I think they're finally hitting it off in the background, and after some more mothering, they start getting up from their seats. Their ability to sustain their delusion in front of outright denial frightens me. Andre, me and Auntie are going to freshen up. You two go ahead and talk some more. Go, go! He gives me some pats on the back before leaving with Auntie. Jennifer and I are then left on the table to stare at each other's faces blankly. Yeah, sorry about that. Nah, you don't have anything to be sorry for. Can't believe how ridiculous this is, not only because of the situation itself, because my mom's deliberately choosing to ignore the fact I don't like men? Ugh! She pauses and adds, no offense. Don't worry, none taken. Learning about this makes it all even worse. I'm truly sorry. I am having a serious conversation with her afterwards. It's just ridiculous to set us up like this. Didn't it occur to them that to maybe take our thoughts into consideration, or at least telling us beforehand? Yep, I've heard from a friend that her mom set her up on one of those these surprise matchmaking encounters, even though she was already dating someone. Yikes. Despite my expression of disapproval, the already dating part strikes a pang to my chest. I mean, yeah, perhaps I could use meeting new people, but definitely not under these circumstances. Well, my mom wants me to meet a man. I can't rely on that. My sincere condolences. This expectation they have of us being a normative marriage makes me sick. To be fair, I guess I never really thought about straying that much from this expectation. Jennifer chuckles with a somewhat bitter tone. Never had to, eh? Well, no. Suddenly feel dumb. I've always been a conventional guy following the conventional social script. Date a girl, move in together, get married, maybe have a kid or two. It just seems like the natural course of life. But obviously, it's not like that for everyone. I can't say I ever had to defy any paradigm in that aspect, and I don't know if I ever will, but I can imagine how hard it is for people who need to. I mean, even if you're the most uptight dude who's content with living in a bubble of normalcy, I think it's foolish to take things for granted. Her last sentence activates some kind of warning in my brain. Considering all the drama I'm going through right now and that I have feelings for someone in a committed relationship, yeah, there are things that we think will never happen to us, and then they just do. We chat a little bit more about common struggles of having unyielding mothers until they're both back to the table. So, did you guys get each other's numbers? Feel a vein twitching on my temple. It's the first thing to hear as soon as she's back. I can't say it's less than infuriating. You know what? Pull the chair away from the table and stand up. Had enough for today. Thank you very much for dinner. Both my mom and auntie stare in awe while Jennifer also stands up. I think I'm good too. What? Andre, don't be so impolite. Jennifer, please sit down. Have a little more respect. The complaints go on uselessly as we both leave the restaurant. Me and Jennifer bid farewell at the street corner. So much for wanting to have a peaceful evening to recollect my thoughts. That glorious exit was the icing on the cake. Now my mom will never let me hear the end of it. At least I got my mind off of my most prominent problem for some time, I guess. I stuff my hands in my pockets as I wander alone through the chilly streets. The lively atmosphere of the bars I pass by along the way makes them look like little aisles of bustling nightlife. I don't have any business with them, though. That thought makes me feel a little lonely. As I'm walking past a cluster of foldable wooden tables and chairs laid out on the street, I see two familiar silhouettes standing by the sidewalk, each of them holding a can of beer. One tall and thin, with long platinum hair, the other just as tall, although very muscular and wearing sunglasses. Cigarette? Face? Well, what a delightful surprise! What are you doing here? Could ask you the same. I mean, drinking on the Wednesday? Fancy. We had a gig at another bar nearby. I feel my body tensing up. The prospect of bumping into Etsuko makes me a little dizzy. A gig with Zero Absoluto? Nope, just the two of us. They need a bassist and a guitarist. I'm actually glad that Etsuko didn't have to come. Since I learned that the coast is clear, I feel relaxed and internally sigh with relief. Why is that? Things didn't go very well. It was awful, utterly poor infrastructure, lacking of attendance, and display of plain roguery from the proprietor's part. They didn't want to pay us. Oh well, that sucks. Alas, but we shall leave that all in the past for now. We drown our sorrows. Maybe I could use drowning my sorrows as well. I've literally just rage quitted a weird family dinner. You're more than welcome to join us, my friend. Sigurd gestures for me to come nearer, and I approach them, forming a small circle between us. Now's the moment when a cheery jingle plays and text box appears with the phrase, "Wen has joined the party." I try humming a generic RPG fanfare and strike a vaguely victorious pose with my fists halfway up. Nerdy win never rests. I'm sorry, it's stronger than me. Speaking of which, oh wow, what was that last RPG session? I immediately feel embittered that my own display of goofiness brought up that topic of that accursed Saturday. Oh yeah, that battle with the troll is crazy, huh? That and more importantly, our new party member. It only gets worse. I only have my nerdy self to blame. Yeah, of course, Kao was a very surprising addition to the table. I was just telling old Base here about this. Can you believe that Kawa is Wen's work colleague? Well, he did say he was working with games. Wait, do you guys know each other? Without thinking, I shoot an inquisitive glance at Base. She, in turn, remains as expressionless as ever. Yeah, I know Kawa. He used to be my neighbor. And they've been on amazing adventures together. She told me all about it at her birthday party. Now I think about it, Sigurd did mention he and Atsuka met Kawa at that party. That party was something. Right, who would have thought our Atsuka would have had such a fateful encounter that day? Fateful encounter? I feel my chest tightening and my immediate feelings are a mixture of melancholy and guilt. Melancholy for the fate that unfolded after that. And guilt because a part of me can't stop myself from wishing that encounter had never happened. Crazy how all this has been going on right under my nose, huh? I ended up saying it out loud, more to myself than to anyone. Crazy indeed, Sir Wen, but since there's you right in the middle... What? Sigurd's sudden remark takes me by surprise. The blonde smirks mischievously at my confusion. He then lifts his index finger, pointing in my direction. You were this triad's missing a tip. Eh? I freeze. Does he know anything? Even Base now has a raised eyebrow due to Sigurd's showy gesture. Without even knowing, you had closed the link between our dearest of friends, Itsuko, my accomplice in the youth, and Kawa, Base's our most precious childhood friend. That's a pretty far-fetched association. Well, I guess it is quite a coincidence I ended up knowing the two of them. And now, by the hand of destiny, they have been brought together as lovers. He strikes yet another dramatic pose as he kneels down with a hand to his face and the other still holding the beverage can. As erratic as Sigurd's commentary may seem at first, it dawns on me that I'm in the presence of two people very close to Etsuko and Kawa. Sigurd, who was present in those years I haven't been in contact with Etsuko, and Base, who apparently has known Kawa his entire life. Realizing I have feelings for someone who's already taken feels like a punch in the gut. A part of me wants to shut this all off, maybe move to another country and start a new life where I can forget any of this had ever happened. But there's also a part that's desperately looking for any straw of hope that could indicate that something, somehow, could happen in my favor. Maybe this could be an opportunity to get insight on the situation at hand. Ask Sigurd about Etsuka. I was wondering, what was Etsuka like in college? I mean, we kind of lost touch at that time. Makes sense. I'd never heard about you before the RPG. Ouch, did you have to lay it out like that? Well, I don't blame her. Oh, why do you say that? We and Barbara used to be best friends in high school, but we stopped hanging out at some point. And you could say it was kind of my fault? Oh, what did you do? I wasn't able to conciliate having a girlfriend with having friends, so I ended up disregarding the latter. Classic. I can see Etsuko getting really mad about that. Yeah, she definitely wasn't happy. I know I messed up. Still feel bad for all the time I spent isolated, directing all my attention to someone I thought was the most important in my life, only for it to end. But if I were to conjecture, I think by now she's had her share of struggling with dividing her attention between things that are important to her. For real? It's hard to imagine Etsuko being unable to handle the things she wants. As real as my resolution to never play at that vital bar again, our band has gone through the risk of termination by virtue of this. Sigurd lifts his free hand with his fingers forcefully grasping the air. Zero Absoluto's histories are not without strife. Huh. Can't really see you guys fighting. I won't say things came out to be belligerent, but we did have a period of uncertainty. And that was because of Atsuko's student exchange program. She'd be away for 1 whole year after all. That makes sense. I can see how complicated it could be to maintain a band with one of its key members in another country. The three of us were anxious about the future. Would this hiatus extinguish the flames that fueled our musical quest, or even our friendship? Do you remember how insecure you felt, Space? Yeah. Of course, being Atsuko, she wasn't willing to give up on anything. She told us she'd work out a way to keep practicing. Sounds just like her. But reality hit hard, and so did the time zone between us. We saw that keeping our band active just wasn't going to work. It was tough, but we ended up accepting the situation. So even Atsuko finally resigned herself. However, I think the distance did us good in the end. How come? Helped us mature and broaden our horizons, you see. Eventually Atsuko returned to Brazil and the day came when we finally reunited to play. It was a little awkward at first, but we had a lot of catching up to do, and it was as if new layers of greatness had been added to our sound. Bass nods silently at the affirmation. Zero Absoluto rose from the ashes with more intensity, more potency, and more passion. It's almost like a time skip. Pardon? You know, it happens in anime when years pass mid-series and the characters come back with a new level of badass. That's precisely what's happened! All this time I've been thinking that I'd wasted years of my life with Nina. That it took me too long to open myself again to other people, and that now it could even be too late. But if I think of it as a time skip from which we all came out stronger, it's actually not that bad. Whew. Looking at things in this light makes me feel inspired and more encouraged to move forward. I'm glad things worked out between you guys. As am I, my friend. With renewed thoughts about my life's twists and turns, I try to piece together this mess I find myself in. I like Atsuko, but there's no denying that. She's dating Kawa. My first instinct still is to suppress these feelings as hard as I can and pretend that everything's fine. I hoped you'd at least be honest with me. But is it really the best thing to do? Are you okay, Win? You seem lost in thought. Sorry, I spaced out for a moment. Yeah, I'm okay. I hoped you at least be honest. Well, actually, there's something bothering me since the last RPG session. My indication of being in some kind of distress clearly takes Sigurd and Base by surprise. With puzzled looks upon their faces, they both lean in as to listen more closely. And jaw stretches. The truth is that something's bumped me out that day. Voicing any discomfort is already a first for me. I don't think I'm ready to reveal specifics. It has to do with Atsuko, but I'm not sure if I should tell her about it. We're all friends, right? I think Atsuko would want to know if there's anything wrong. She probably would, but I'm kind of scared of what could happen, to be honest. The fear of the unknown. There's no shame in being scared, though. Hiding your feelings may not culminate in the best outcome. Well, I should know that by now. You've got a point. I'll think about it. I let the conversation I just had stew in my mind while I stare into the night sky.